Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a process video for you today. I am going to be creating my little tag ring for this project from Bythewell4God. They created a little tag bob kit this month, and unfortunately they have sold out of these, but you can still follow along with the prompt list and the scriptures. They made that available for free on their website. I'm just kind of showing you what's in this little tag bob kit. So you get the labels for each of the attributes, the stickers, you get some fibers, and then you get 31 of the tags, and you also get the little ring reinforcers. And there's 31 tags here because so that you could use one for the cover. I'm going to actually make my own covers. And like I was saying, if you were not able to get this kit, because like I said, they did sell out, if you want to have your own tags or you want to make your own, maybe you have a die cut that you want to do, or you want to use like just a gratitude journal or something like that, the prompt list and the coordinating scriptures are still available. You can just get that for free off the website. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I have this piece of chipboard that is just a heavier weight. It's not like super heavy, but it's better, you know, heavier than like cereal boxes, which is what I would normally use for a cover. But I just feel like this is going to get a lot of wear and tear because I'm going to be in it every day for 30 days. And so I wanted to make it kind of a more heavy duty cover than just having a tag on there. So I am using this chipboard and I am just measuring this so that I'm going to have about 1/8 of an inch kind of border around my tag. So that means I think right here I'm cutting these down to be about 3 inches wide. I forget how tall they are right off the top of my head, but I'm just cutting this chipboard down. I started out using my my little cutter there, and I ended up having to go back in with my X-Acto knife to kind of finish that off. It wouldn't go all the way through, but you can kind of see this is how I was planning on doing it. And then I was sitting here, I realized that was going to be really far down on the ring itself, having the covers kind of sticking up. So I decided to make them so that they were all level on the top, which meant I needed to come back through here and just trim this down just a little bit. So I marked where the circle is, and then I'm going to go through and mark my like 1/4 of an inch, I guess it's 1/4 of an inch, not 1/8 of an inch, my 1/4 of an inch distance basically from the edge of the tag to the edge of my chipboard. I'm just marking that down. And then down here at the bottom, I needed to take off another 1/4 of an inch from my original measurement. So I'm just using my ruler here, making a line, and then I'll use my X-Acto knife to trim that down. And then I'll do that on both cover pieces, and that will make it so that they're flush up at the top. And then around the other 3 sides, we'll have about 1/4 of an inch border that will just protect my tags on the inside. That way, if I have something kind of hanging off the edge or whatever, it's not going to get damaged by the constant, you know, kind of flipping through here for the month. So I went ahead and punched my holes. I'm using my crocodile there to do that. I did that, and in hindsight, I could have waited until the very end to do that, but for whatever reason, I just did it here. So I have to kind of keep babysitting those holes, which is fine. I went through and I got my pattern paper. This is the pattern paper that actually coordinates with the November devotional kit from Bythewell4God called Overflowing. There are still a few of those available at the last that I knew at the time that I recorded this, but they are selling out pretty quickly. So I did take a couple pieces of that pattern paper to use for my cover. So I trimmed those down so that I have about 1/2 an inch on like a border around my tag here. And now I'm just going to cover the face of this tag with some scrapbook.com double-sided adhesive. I have this in a couple of different widths. And so I just laid down the widest one that I have and then trimmed it so that it's flush with the tag. And then I'm going to do that on the side with this other piece as well. I will have like one little strip in the middle that doesn't have any adhesive, but it's going to be fine. It won't lift or anything. And I would like to use liquid adhesive and stuff as well, but this chipboard that I have, if I get this with any kind of liquid adhesive on it, it kind of bubbles and it just doesn't handle that very well. So I decided to just use my double-sided adhesive for this. A lot of times I will use liquid adhesive on like cereal boxes and that kind of stuff. But for this, I needed to use this double-sided adhesive. So I'm peeling off the release paper, and I am just going to center this on this scrapbook paper that I have, this pattern paper, and trying, I didn't measure it. I just kind of did it roughly. And then I took my bone folder and burnished that down really well so that it just makes sure that it's not going to go anywhere. And I did that for both pieces. And now I'm going to kind of cut the corners here. The square section, I did like a V-shaped cut like I would normally do. But up here at the top where you have the angles from the tag, I just kind of cut that parallel to the angle because there's going to be a couple little folds that I have to do to kind of wrap this around there. So before I get into gluing this down or whatever, I'm going to take my bone folder and go around and kind of score all of the paper. That's just going to help it so that the paper doesn't crack or tear or anything like that. And it's just going to help it be a little bit easier to manage as we're folding it around. So I'm taking my thinnest double-sided adhesive here, and I'm going to go around the edge, very edge of the chipboard and the very edge of the paper. And then I'm going to start here at the top of the tag where the hole is, and I'm just kind of pulling down these release papers just a little bit. And then on this very edge, you can kind of see I'm going to kind of wrap this around so that I get a good, so that I make sure everything is adhered really well, but it's nice and flush with the chipboard. And then I'm going to take my bone folder here, and I'm going to now kind of score around where the angle of this tag part is, and I'm just kind of folding that down. And this is going to make it so that then I can fold. I'm going to take those top pieces and I'm going to fold them kind of in the same angle as the angle of the tag, if that makes sense. And so you can kind of see I'm just kind of wrapping this around just real gently, and then I'm just going to fold this over, and I have some of the release paper pulled back so that this little fold that I'm about to do here is going to stick. It's kind of hard to see what I'm doing. You can see I'm pulling that release paper, and then when I fold this along that edge there, it's going to stick down, and then I can use my bone folder again right up at the edge of the chipboard, fold everything down again. You can kind of see just creasing it there, and then when this piece folds over, it will kind of wrap that section around the tag. I hope that made sense, but you can kind of see I'm going to do it here again. So I'm just doing everything kind of parallel with the little angled part, and then it's almost like kind of like you're creating a pleat almost. It's hard to see because the angle of this this tag is not really very drastic, so it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing there. But then I'm going to go down and do the piece down at the bottom, because whenever you are wrapping, it's kind of, if you start at the top, then you want to do the bottom and then go to the sides versus doing the sides first. You just kind of want to do the opposite ends. It just makes it wrap a little bit better. So I'm going through that same process, pulling off all of the release papers here, and then I'll kind of, you can see, I'm going to just fold that down, and then I just kind of wrap it around, making sure that it stays nice and flush with the chipboard as I am doing this, because this, that's the one thing about doing this double-sided adhesive. It is very, very sticky, so you kind of only have one chance most often here. So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm getting it so that it's nice and flush up against the edge of the chipboard. And I will do that for both pieces. And then I'm just using my bone folder just to make sure everything is pressed down really well, so it's not going to lift up off of that chipboard. So that is what my cover is going to look like on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and punch this hole. Like I said, I'm going to babysit this because I didn't want to have to try to repunch it in the exact same spot again. So I'm just going to keep kind of punching the hole as I go. In hindsight, like I said, it would have been better to do that at the end, but I went ahead and wrapped the other cover, and now I'm going to work on the inside. I went and got another piece of this paper that coordinates, and I wanted to use this kind of wood grain one on the inside. So I'm measuring this. I don't remember the exact measurement, but it was just basically so that it will cover all of the seams on the inside. I cut down the little angles there, you can see, and then I'm going to use that same scrapbook.com double-sided adhesive, and it will cover that inside, and it's just going to stay down, and it'll, you know, be nice and adhered down. I'm not going to have to worry about it lifting or anything because I have adhesive going from edge to edge. And I kind of take the release papers and kind of hold on to them, and then kind of use them as wings to kind of place my paper. And then I get it where I want it, and then I can pull the rest of the adhesive off. Because like I said, once you stick it down, it is stuck. So you want to make sure it's lined up as best as you can. And then I went ahead and punched the holes again. And then I decided I wanted to add a reinforcement, like a metal reinforcer. So I'm actually putting these eyelets. I have these like wide, they have like a wide lip to them. And I just like the look of them. So I picked out a couple of dark brown ones. I'm using my crocodile here. And I believe these are We Are Memory Keepers eyelets, if I remember correctly. But and then I just set those with my little tool. And that way, I just felt like that would be the best scenario for, as much as this tag ring, again, is going to get, you know, flipped through every day. I wanted to make sure there's not a lot of wear and tear on that hole. So I'm going to pull out this, this is the ring that comes actually with the kit. Of course, if you didn't get this kit, you can use anything that you want to. But I'm just going to go ahead and load all of my tags on here, and I actually put all 31 on there. That way, if I accidentally mess one up, I have a spare to work with. But it's a nice fat ring, so I imagine this little book is going to get pretty chunky. So right now it seems like it's really big, but I think it'll be fine by the end. The tag ring came with like fibers and that kind of stuff. I will probably put those on either as I go or more toward the end, because I just don't want to be fighting with them every day. But I decided to go ahead and just decorate my cover a little bit more. So I'm trying to decide kind of what I want to do, and I pulled out the ephemera pieces. Again, these are the ephemera pieces that go with the overflowing devotional kit from Bythewell4God. And I went through and just kind of pulled out a piece that I wanted to use on the front here. I loved this little chair, and I just thought it was kind of spoke to kind of the way that I envision using this tag ring, I guess, because it's just going to be kind of like time just sitting and meditating on these wonderful attributes of God, and just spending time being really thankful for those. And so this kind of chair was just like, you know, I'm just going to be sitting with this information. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of what was in my brain when I was doing that. And I took a piece of a vintage paper. This actually came from my subscription kit to a house of books, and I just tore off a section of it, and just so that it will kind of be in that bottom right hand corner. I like the jagged edge. This is actually from a really old almanac, and but most of this is going to be covered up. But I didn't worry with like wrapping it to the inside or anything. It's literally just on the front. And then I pulled out a couple other little ephemera pieces that I just had in my stash, and then I distressed all of the edges. And I decided I needed to add just a little bit of washi tape down here at the bottom. And I have this one that's kind of like wood grain. So I did that so that I could wrap it around to the inside. And then I'll put another piece on the inside as well, so it looks like it's continuous. And that will help this one, because I got this paper just a little bit crooked. You probably wouldn't notice, but it was driving me a little bit crazy. So and now I'm just going to work on layering all these things. I fidgeted with this a little bit, but I have this label. This came in a subscription box from Your Creative Studio, and I inked it up, and it's actually a sticker, so I stuck that down. And then this was an ephemera piece that I created a while back using some Tim Holtz stamps, and that's what this piece is as well. And so I had just created a bunch of these to have little just ephemera things that I can use for layering. And now I'm gluing this little chair here on top. And then there's a great thing about the tag ring is you can kind of pull everything off. So you can see I have this off the ring, but I will put it back on the ring and close everything up. And that will basically be it. So if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.